And I would like to welcome our special class of graduates this year of the Indigenous Women in Community Leadership. So take it away, Desi.
Congratulations, students.
I see everyone's taking their seats. I would like to start this by saying thank you for everyone for being here today, for celebrating the Inuit, Métis, and First Nation women here who are going to graduate in the Indigenous Women in Community Leadership Program. And I would first like to bring Hubba Lafford, our in-house elder who takes part in the whole program. She's here in May for 3 weeks. She's also here in August in 2 weeks with us, and she sits in class every day with us. We start every day with prayer, and we close every day with prayer as well. So Hubba is going to really actually do two things today. She's going to do the prayer, and she's going to do the welcome to the Mi'kmaq territory. Hubba.
Nyokte Batsuadu. Everybody stand, please. Good, you know. Walaliak danda mawaliak isku. Awalaliak dana delbajidaiga adneam kachiga nigamana ni anudabeska la imudijig. Gajandalu is that graduate to Jikisco. Well, that's in Nina, gis 5 weeks la. I hold us walking down, days a kisko no masut. I done days a coil madu, discolam and gisia walk more than week more. It away you sit down days, gulagisco. Will all deep it out to the Asiga walk. Mawana sky, Mawana league. Well, all yotana, delbijidayo. Adne amoga, nida peskai modigla. Well, all yom sit nogma. Now, I'd like to invite everybody that has come here today to my territory. I am so proud of my territory. I'm proud of my traditions, my culture, my people. I think all the places that I have visited in the world, I think this is the best place to be in Nova Scotia. It is full of everything that you possibly need in life, especially in Unamaki, which is Cape Breton. They have their culture really strong, in their language. Their people are very loving and caring because they held on to the language. This part of the country, this part of Nova Scotia is not too, because of the residential school and the abuse and whatever we faced in that era. So a lot of people don't speak their language anymore, so they can't communicate as well as people in Unamagi can and Cape Breton. One of the reasons why I'm here today is because of these 10 or 11 lovely women that are here and that are graduating today. And it's an honor for me to be here today because I've been with them for 5 weeks and I've seen them grow like a flower. It was in May that they came, I think the end of May. And they were little buds. And now they're flowers. And they're just so jubilant. They just want to go home and start the fight. And it's going to be really, because I do see the ones that came here in the first year and the ones that came in the second year, because we do Skyping, that's what they call it. And I know that I will be seeing them next year if I live to be that long. And I will probably be Skyping with these girls too, and knowing that they're doing something in their lives. And I know you will be, because I've heard the projects and I've seen the projects and I've seen you the way you have bloomed. It's really nice. Anyways, thank you for allowing me to speak to you and in inviting you to my territory. And I hope that I'll see you again. Thank you.
Thank you, Haba. I would like to say a welcome. I see people still coming in, which is great. And I know that we have a lot of guests here from the diploma program from all over the world. I guess they represent 18 to 20 different countries. We also have a group of people from the Skills for Social Change. We have special guests. We have Susan Swan from Imperial Oil, representing Imperial Oil and ExxonMobil. We have We have, I see some people from the St. FX University as well. So I'm just going to invite to the stage Dr. John Gaventa from the Coady International Institute. He is our director, and he's going to say a few words.
Thank you, Sheila. And thank you, Elder Hubba, for your kind welcoming words and your welcome. We acknowledge our presence here on Mi'kmaq territory. And we very much appreciate the presence that you've had, not just today, but over the last 5 weeks with these women and with Coady. I have to say, as someone who hasn't been part of the program, but it's been an inspiration every day to come in and to see the teepee and to see the women gather and to see Elder Hubba always there offering words of wisdom and support and counsel. And I also gather a few jokes and things like that along the way. So thank you so much. Friends, colleagues, Coady participants from all over the world, President Riley, Bishop, Warden, our distinguished friends who are watching live in different parts of Canada and across other places in their communities, welcome to you. As director of the Coady Institute and as vice president of St. FX, I want to especially say congratulations to the graduates of the 2013 class of the Indigenous Women in Community Leadership Program. Congratulations. Like Elder Hubba has said, only a few months ago, it even seems just a few weeks ago, you arrived here, anxious to learn. I welcomed you at a welcome dinner. And now, only a few weeks later, a few months later, you graduate. And as the third class of the IWICL program, you will join some 40 women across almost every province and territory of Canada to use your skills and your leadership on behalf of your communities. I'd like to also thank those who have contributed so much to this program. Again, thanks to our mentors. For those of you who don't know, we have a wonderful group of senior women, Indigenous elders from across Canada who give of their time and wisdom. And I'd actually like to ask you to stand, the mentors, so that we can recognize you. Your wisdom and support has been of tremendous value, not only to the women, but also to the Coady Institute and to the organizers of the program, as you give us your feedback on how it can constantly improve. Many thanks to the communities who welcomed the participants. They've been working with you in their action plans, in their research, in their learning in your communities over the last few months. And many of you may be watching on camera. Thank you so much for the support that you've given. Thanks to the facilitators, to the staff who have been involved in the IWICL program, both from within the Coady staff, but many, many others who have helped. Your efforts have been particularly gratifying and supported and appreciated by the participants. Sheila has already done it, but I also want to say a particular thanks to Susan Swan and the Imperial Oil Foundation, not only for their financial support, but for the kind of partnership that they have modeled, a partnership based on mutual respect, of working together, of learning together, and of helping to improve this program together. So thank you, Susan, and thank you for coming. So to the graduates, just a few words. Your presence, your energy, your dedication have been a pleasure to observe and to witness and to experience every day here at Coady. While you've been here, you've examined diverse topics as broad as Aboriginal history and leadership, proposal writing, asset-based community development, public speaking, many different topics, but all of these with the goal to support active, community-driven development towards self-reliance and self-determination. Last week, I had the opportunity at a public speaking class to hear these amazing women present just in a few minutes a summary of what they've learned and of their projects. I heard incredible stories, stories of reclaiming history and culture and identity and how important that is. Stories of the search for gainful employment, particularly for youth. Stories of protecting the earth and environment and food. Stories of the loss of a sense of community and of the importance and power of reestablishing community. Stories of resilience and rediscovery and leadership. I also heard stories of women with renewed courage to speak out and to take charge. You all said many things that were very important that day, but one phrase that one of you said really stayed with me, which was, "Nobody can hear what you do not say." Nobody can hear what you do not say. And I know that as you leave here, you will not be silent, that your voices, your courage will continue to shout loud and will help to make change in your communities and elsewhere. At Coady, our philosophy is very much one of the power of transformational learning. We believe that individual change is not only an end in itself, but it's a building block for beginning to transform our communities one step at a time. Over the last few months, we've seen you, as Elder Hub has said, grow and learned and become transformed. You've worked together as a team. You've become a powerful group of sisters, ready with renewed determination and pride as women to lead change. As you leave here as women graduates of the IWICL program, you will join other graduates, previous graduates who have walked in this path. You will join Coady graduates, over 6,000 in 130 countries around the world, as Coady graduates. And as you as individuals take your steps for change with others in your homes, your workplaces, and your communities, other IWICL and Coady graduates are also taking their steps for change. And with so many people taking small steps for change, our footprints become larger paths, and these paths lead across our communities, across Canada, and across the world, helping to make the world a better place. So congratulations, IWICL Class of 2013, and may your journey as proud and determined leaders go well. Travel safely along your path. Congratulations.
Thank you so much, John, for your kind words and thoughtful reflection on what the ladies have said and what you've learned from them. We have today 10 ladies here to graduate in 2013, but I'd like to also say that they have 5 sisters who, There's 5 sisters that weren't able to make it for many different reasons. And it was a really tough year because you really had, you have a relationship with these ladies, and to find out that one of your sisters in the program has a sister missing. And this is something that happens to Aboriginal people across the whole country. It's not something just in this program. And it was very, it was, to learn about some of the difficulties that they go through was very overwhelming for me. And for them not to be here is very difficult. The girls are thinking they never heard me cry before. And I decided to do it today. But my heart goes out to them and their families. And I do have to say that there is some beautiful news as well. One of our students, Shauna, had a baby boy. So we have an IWICL baby boy. And Michelle has an IWICL baby girl. So we did have birth, not just death and missing people and flooding. So I would like to say that there are so many projects that the ladies have done, and I'm so proud of every single one of you for your growth from when you started at the end of April till now, and all of the running around and everything we did this past week and the week before. And you know, I sat in the back of the class during your presentations last week, and I felt like a proud mom or older sister. And yesterday, we finalized all of the projects, and the mentors and I sat down and we were trying to figure out who was going to be that one presentation that we were going to choose. And we couldn't. We couldn't choose just one. So we decided to choose two different projects. And I'm happy to introduce Denise Pemmican, who's going to talk about her project.
Okay. Bonjour. Ogima Gijigo Kwe Nidishnakas. Biju Dodem. Hello, my name is Denise Pemmican, and my family is from Kenora, Ontario, on beautiful Lake of the Woods. And I would like to take you on a journey. The lake. It was blue, calm, and tranquil. The canoe was filled. Life jackets were on. I looked to my uncle, and with a nod even the Queen would be proud of, I signaled we were ready to go. That sunny and tranquil summer day was one of many firsts. The first time I had ever canoed with my uncle. It was the first time I had ever earned the right to be in the back, to steer, and to be in control. And it was the first time my uncle had ever been tipped in a canoe. I'll tell you what I tell him to this day, that it was an accident. Really, it was an accident. What I remember is pushing off the shore with the grace of a ballerina. In reality, it may have been more like a moose. The canoe rocked side to side. My uncle's paddle went flying, and over he went. I knew I was next. As I disappeared over the side of the canoe, I didn't think of the gear or the food or even the leeches. No, I was worried about my uncle's anger and disappointment. As I popped out of the water, all I could think of was how I ruined this trip. But what he did next surprised me, and I will always keep close. So as our gear floated by, and as we stood there sopping wet, I just remember, and it'll always keep close to me, he just tilted his head back, and he let out the heartiest of laughs. It was with kindness and disbelief in his eyes that he said to me, "You dumped me. I can't believe you dumped me." It is here, on trips like this, on the land, and yes, in the water, opportunities exist. Opportunities to gather and step away from our usual roles, to share stories, teachings, and traditional skills, to learn compassion, courage, an appreciation for nature and all that it can teach us. It is on trips like this I learned what it means to paddle with purpose. Whether it's crossing an ocean, hiking your first portage, or facing one's fear with public speaking, paddling with purpose is about confidence, empowerment, and the support of others while giving it your all. My project's foundation was built on the Women of Courage program through Outward Bound Canada. It's an 8-day canoeing expedition for women survivors of violence and abuse. I am a woman of courage. I saw and felt firsthand the impact and healing a wilderness program can have on one's entire being. Outward Bound Canada was not only open to meeting with me as Denise, as an individual, but has been so supportive in continuing this program for the women, for the caregivers in our community, a chance to explore themselves and nature. The second half of my project focuses on learning traditional skills. For 5 days, we traveled 4 hours each day to Grassy Narrows First Nation. We offered tobacco, we harvested cedar, and we shared stories. We built a 4-foot birch bark canoe. It was the first time for many, it was the first time for me, and it's the first step in building a full-size 16-foot canoe next year. I would just like to say thank you to the Coady Institute and the Iwakal program, Outward Bound Canada, and the Kenora Anishinaabe Women's Organization for their work in empowering women, their families, and their communities. May we continue to gather, to share, to learn, and above all, to paddle with purpose. Miigwech, and thank you.
If you guys would have met Denise at the end of April, you wouldn't have thought she could be up here and do such a powerful speech. And I've seen a lot of growth in her, and it's great. It makes me want to go paddle with purpose in Kenora and Lake of the Woods. In her, I think we need a bigger canoe. As I was talking a while, you heard a little beep. I didn't shut my phone off. It was Shauna. Shauna's one of the ladies who had a baby. So she had a little boy, so she just gave some encouragement. Our next speaker, our second presenter that we chose, is a force to be reckoned with, really. She did the job of probably a dozen people that would have maybe taken them 2 years to do. So she started in February. Because when she got accepted into the program, she goes, okay, I need a project. So she started working on it immediately, and basically she will tell you what she did in the course of 3 months, really. Valerie Moses.
Sego, Skanagoa. My name is Valerie Moses. I am Haudenosaunee from the Delaware Nation, from 6 nations of the Grand River Territory. I am an Indigenous woman leader. The Iwakal program has given me a platform to pursue an issue that I am very passionate about changing in First Nations communities. Working for First Nations in the labor market industry for a number of years, it grew more and more obvious to me that there was a widely acknowledged yet unaddressed breakdown in the relationship between stakeholders that develop and deliver programming and First Nations communities. Communication and the division of responsibility among stakeholders was the core of this breakdown. Project Nandagakendin was developed to repair that breakdown by including all parties in the development and management of an innovative community-based service delivery method. Instead of just working with stakeholders that were already providing services to the communities, we recognized gaps in their capacity to meet the community's needs and established new partnerships with other service providers, unions, private sector, and training institutes to fill those gaps. My project focused on servicing 4 First Nations communities in North Central Ontario. With a combined average unemployment rate of 88%, Henvey Inlet, Magnetawan, Shawanaga, and Wasauksing First Nations were facing staggeringly high barriers to employment. Some examples of these barriers are the attainment of grade 12 or equivalency, navigating the job application process, maintaining a job, access to transportation, reliable and affordable childcare, and the development of computer literacy skills. By teaching community members ways to apply their life experience to employment and how to navigate the labor market in their local industry, we created a foundation of skilled workers prepared to meet Canada's forecasted skills gap. We approach partners from a business standpoint, relying on relevant statistical data and financial reports as the rationale for their participation in the project. The final product was a system of 4 First Nations, 11 core team members, including education and employment counselors, a project lead, a finance officer, and curriculum delivery agents, 17 service providers, 2 unions, and 3 groups from the private sector that worked seamlessly together to meet the needs of our communities. This cohesive system operated in a flexible environment that was able to produce 7 registered apprentices and 1 former laborer who will be challenging his certificate of qualifications in the carpentry trade in September. I am so very proud to say that together we had a 100% success rate over the course of just 3 months. So Yahweh to the Coady, to the IWICL program, to my sisters, and to our mentors for giving me this chance and opportunity to not only make changes in these communities, but to teach them how to make changes for themselves. So thank you.
Thank you, Val. As part of my job here at the Coady as the program manager of the Indigenous Women and Community Leadership Program, I have the opportunity to choose a guest speaker every year. The first year we had Dr. Cora Voyager, who was First Nation from Chipewyan, Alberta. In this last year we had Sarah Anala from Nain, Labrador. And this year I chose a Métis lady, just so that we're all representative of all of the Indigenous Canadian women here in Canada. And when I was thinking about a speaker, I heard from a lot of different people because I was asking and, just trying to figure out what was going to be the best suit for our ladies. And I found her. And I found her through actually a project that was done last year with Melinda Labucan. And it was all about healing. And it was about self-care and things like that we have to do for ourselves. Leaders, all leaders, they're always learning. They don't just stop learning when they finish the IWICL program. Leadership comes in many different forms. And this is what I believe our next guest speaker is. Esther Superno is Métis. She's the author of 5 books on Canadian and First Nation history and culture. She is currently writing a series of parent and children books called Windwalker. She's of Saulteaux, Ojibwe, Celtic descent. Esther's a nurse with a Bachelor of Arts degree in psychology and writing. Esther draws on her Celtic, Druidic, Native American heritage to keep her courses magical and educational. Esther is a dedicated spiritual pathfinder who loves daydreaming and meditating to receive the spirit messages, gifting her writing in her life. Please welcome Esther Superno.
Thank you, Sheila. This lady is the powerhouse of this powerful, incredible program. To our honorable Hubba, our beloved Hubba, to our special guests, to our beautiful leadership grads, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to talk to you about my love of this town. For starters, I'm a drummer, and I love the sound of the name of this town. It has a heartbeat. It's Anaganesh, Anaganesh. And this place is Saint Effects, Saint Effects. Powerful medicine, and it's a pleasure to be here. I heard of the name of this town 25 years ago, and I fell in love with it then, and I still am. And it's just an honor to be here. And our Aboriginal prophecies have spoken about this time. We are the generation of healing and serving and teaching. We are the generation alive today who are what the world has waited for. Our ancient prophecies talk about our red nation, how we would lie face down in the mud for 100 years, and then we would stand up on our hind legs and teach the world about spirit and healing. Today, I'm looking at a group of very strong women, and I'm so proud to be able to have spent the week with you. It was such an honor to meet you all. These women are so determined, so committed, so dedicated, and so young that it's awesome to spend time with them. And here they are today celebrating their success and taking the time to do that in ceremony. And they're ready to go home and take up the power of their work in their communities. And this program has given them powerful tools to structure their plans, to involve their communities, to make changes, to create progress and future for their children and all the children yet to come. But these women, as young as they are, have worked so hard for the past 3 months. They've learned something about themselves in the process. They have learned the power and the necessity of self-care. In our teachings, everything is in a circle. What you give out comes back. So what do you give out? Has to come back to you. That's part of your self-care, your self-nurturing. And there are 4 parts of ourselves as human beings, as our elders teach it to us in this circle. There's the physical, the mental, the emotional, and the spiritual. So how, if you break it down that way, how do you give yourself self-care? And I put it out to all of you because I know you all have busy lives. I know you juggle a lot of things. I know you struggle with your books, your education, and your families that are left behind. How do you take care of yourself? How do you prevent that burnout? If I start with the physical, it's easy. Self-care, we all know that. It's about the food we eat, the water we drink, the movement, the exercise we give our bodies, the crafts that we do with our hands, the relaxation techniques, that balance of work and play that we all need. And mental, I'm sure a lot of you understand that one. It's about curiosity and learning and educating ourselves, remembering. Learning our cultural roots and our heritage that gives us a sense of identity and the lessons in life. Contemplation, meditation. In my Gaelic traditions, it's called quietness without loneliness. And it can be as simple as sitting at a window with a cup of coffee or tea and just looking and thinking. Quietness without loneliness. But emotional self-care on a daily basis is deeper. It's the pull of the heart to heal, pulling away the layers of hurt, past the anger, the unforgiven, past the sorrow and the loss, past the shame and the guilt, past the ego, to simply sitting with our God-given, honest, purest of feelings to find our truth, our honorable integrity of who we are, the depth and breadth of all these feelings that give us such richness and sometimes so much pain. But what we are and these experiences is something that we have to accept. And then we can lovingly release them. The yogis call it pranic breath, where you breathe it in through your nose and breathe it out through your mouth to release it. In our teachings, it is the medicine of the 5 medicines of our voice, of speaking and laughing and singing and weeping and screaming, to release those energies as part of our healing. That is our heart song. And the final part is spirit. And we as Aboriginal people have been given that task of teaching the world about spirit. So what does that mean? What is our spirit about? I say it's that essence that looks out through your eyes. The watcher, the observer, who wonders, who am I? Why am I here? It dreams and desires and aspires. It gives our inner radiance, a vibrancy, a sense of presence, that joie de vivre, that joy of life. And what feeds or nurtures our spirit? Part of that balance within us. Ceremony, like today. Sitting in the unity of others who have similar beliefs and values and traditions and aspirations and dreams. And it's a recognition of a higher power, a higher energy, whatever you want to call it, whatever name you want to give it. We asked my little granddaughter when she was 2, we said, "Baby, where is God?" And she was sitting on the floor playing with her dolls. And she said, "He's in the sky and he's in the ground. I see him in the clouds sometimes." She said, "I miss him. I want to go see him." In our traditions, we honored our children because we knew they are only a few years from sitting at God's knee. But we must go deeper to nurture and connect. Our people call it sitting in the silence, finding a quiet spot, an undisturbed place where we can listen. We can listen inside to know our spirit. It's to connect with that gut feeling that always knows right from wrong and won't let us sometimes do the wrong thing. And part of that knows, like it knows, like it knows, who we truly are, and it calls us back when we stray. It calls us back when we become so uncomfortable with ourselves. We have no choice but to return to what makes our spirit sing once more. Back to our path, our reason for being. And how do we listen? And what do we hear? What are the messages? Where do they come from? From that inner voice. It comes in dreams that we can't forget. It comes in the words of a song that vibrates and resonates within us. It comes as a phrase that someone sings, or someone says, or something that we read, something that pops into our head and it startles us with its wisdom and insight. It could be looking at an ordinary doorway and suddenly seeing a bright light around it. And when we have the courage to walk through that door, we encounter a life-changing experience. And like my little granddaughter taught me, it's in the clouds. Sometimes there's messages there. It's going to bed with a problem and waking up with a solution. And for our people, it's messages from Mother Nature, from the animals and the insects and the trees that touch our soul, that when we look at one of them, it hurts, our hearts ache. So if we nurture ourselves every day in all these ways, and we act on the spirit messages that are given to us, and we follow through, we pay attention to our spirit soul, then as taking care of ourselves, when you look at yourself physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually, it is the sum total of our soul. When you do that, you discover your soul. You discover your purpose. And we all grow and mature to a place of inner peace and wisdom. In essence, we become ourselves. So when I talk to these grads, these beautiful grads, and I'm sorry if my voice quavers, I'm on a certain medication that causes it. I'm really not that nervous. I would like to say to them, this is how you nurture yourself, daily, every day. Take the time, take some quiet time, sit in your emotions, check in with them, see how they're doing. That's how you learn to nurture yourself. And this is what you can give back to your communities. This is the gift that you give them by being healthy and whole yourself. This is what you give back, because self-care is self-love, and there is nothing more powerful than that. So I wish you well, best of luck, and may God bless you all, and safe journey to everybody home again. Thank you. Thank you.
This is for you. Thank you so much. Now we come to an exciting part of the program. The ladies have been able to choose a valedictorian, and I would just like to say Sherry Fowler, Shauna McKenzie, Tia Black, Jennifer McGillis, and Michelle Pierre, and Sharon Bernard. The ladies that are not here today, I know you're watching, so enjoy your valedictorian. Her name is Karen Martin. She's from Listigouche, Quebec, and she is our class valedictorian.
Wel dasi at magidedam, dandelia modig migmagi, ukchirla meskig nagwek. I am happy and proud to be in Mi'kma'ki for this significant day. Good afternoon, faculty, family, friends, and fellow Indigenous women and community leadership graduates. My name is Karen Martin, and I am Mi'kmaq from Keskebeya and Listigouche, Quebec. First of all, I'd like to be the first to congratulate you on graduating from the IWICO program. After all, I know firsthand the ridiculous collective amount of sweat, tears, sleepless nights, and let's not forget the hefty amount of caffeine it took to get here. On behalf of my IWICO sisters, I'd like to thank the teachers, the mentors, the people who contributed to each of our projects, our families for letting us come to the Coady while being physically absent from them for 5 weeks. Regardless of the distance between us this summer, our hearts and our minds were with each other. Through the struggles and through the successes, I've come to learn that this is what sisterhood is all about. My hope is that our bonds will outlast time and survive distance, And fortunately, we have social media to continue to creep each other's walls and stay in touch. Just to get you all familiar with the fun to be had with 15 Aboriginal women, I'll recap some of my favorite moments from my sisters and things we'll sure miss. Like having mandatory Arctic showers our first week here because the water heater busted that week. We also learned through face language that even though I don't like this trait, I completely and deeply accept myself, right, Val? And how some of us got to meet our twin through Sherry's project presentation, right, Cheyenne? Denise, whom admitted to having the grace of a moose and showed us in her presentation what giant ducks look like when they surround a 4-foot canoe. I also quickly learned from Lish what tarantanas were after leaving home without any underwear. Linnell, who showed us what real jazz hands look like. And remember the limo drive back in May on Paula's birthday? All that Bannock booty created sparks, baby. The road was on fire that night. And Ashley, who demonstrated on multiple occasions what jiggly jigging looks like. And Paula, the Pendleton addict. I wouldn't put it past her to own a pair of Pendleton panties. Sandra, who redefined our program with the good old eye winkle. And Salima, whose phone began calling Sheila multiple times while we were at the bar playing a never ever have I blank game. Meanwhile, Sheila involuntarily got all the details of some pretty wild admissions that night. And let's not forget Sherry, who taught us, "You're awesome." And remember Tia's favorite words? That's deep. And Michelle, the bingo queen, who had problems with coming home empty-handed. And remember when Jen got sick from the tap water, but requested DQ on the ride home from the hospital? And our dear, dear Shauna, with her crazy hormonal raging. Love you, Shauna, and congrats on your new baby. That goes out to Michelle also, who welcomed a baby girl lately. Now let's get back to some seriousness. Remember this, ladies. Passion is more important than success, and no one can tell you what it is or how to get there. Take and keep a piece of each of your Iwakal sisters, and know that we will be there to cheer you on in your many journeys and challenges ahead. And lastly, please remember, sisters, to stay true to who you are and what you're passionate about, and to no longer idle. Wilalio, thank you.
I tried not to listen in on that phone call. I even hung up, and then it called me back again. So I texted Karen and said, I can hear everything you guys are talking about, because Selma's phone is still on. I'd like to ask Mary Beth to come to the stage to give off some of the ABCD certificates that were done during the Iwakal program. Each year, we have a 3-week program in May, and one of the weeks we do asset-based community development. And this year we have 4 recipients of that ABCD certificate. And we are very inclusive of female and males. And we actually did a field trip to Wacoba, which is about an hour and 15 minutes from here. And we offered the ABCD to 2 gentlemen from Wacoba. And one of them couldn't make it, but he was like, I don't want to be in a classroom full of girls. I'm like, what's wrong with this guy? He's in a classroom full of girls. So Stephen offered to take the class with him for that week. So we have 4 certificates, and that's why we have one of them is for a guy. So if we could have the photographer down here to take a picture. Oh, sorry. We'll be doing it right here. Our first certificate goes out to Chief Deborah Chief, Mentor Chief Deborah Chief. Come on. Okay, come up this way. Okay, come up here. We'll put it in the middle. I forgot to mention that Mary Beth not only is a mentor in the program, she's also a co-facilitator in the ABCD class. I'd like to call Carla Robinson. Miss Tasha Spillett. Mr. Stephen Marshall. Thank you, Mary Beth. This is what we all been waiting for. I'd like to have Dr. Riley come up to the stage, and Susan Swan. We have chosen Susan Swan. She is the Imperial Oil Foundation president, and Dr. Riley to give off the certificates and the scarves for the ladies as I call them up for their certificates to their graduation certificates. Linnell Big Eagle, Saskatchewan, White Bear First Nation. Selma Ford from Nain, Labrador, but lives in Ottawa. Sandra Hudson from Barons River, Manitoba. Paula Johnson from Hobbema, Alberta. Karen Martin from Listigich, Quebec, and Guesquebeguiec, Quebec. Cheyenne McKay from Winnipeg, Manitoba. Valerie Moses, Delaware, from Six Nations, Ontario. Ashley Norton, Regina, Saskatchewan, Métis. No, we're doing Denise Pemmican, Lake of the Woods, Rap Portage, Ontario. And last but not least, Alicia Sweezy from Eel Ground First Nation, New Brunswick. So now what we're going to do is we're going to have Haba do the closing prayer. But that is not the end of our day. We still have a special guest singer, and I will introduce her after the closing prayer.
Kisli saya badly as. Good you know walali kana telma wali kisko. Awal das waki niga mai mudi jikla kisko. Niga graduate o titki. Era waida dande tel daji dande tura tiwo elia glukdo. Ama one cigar ba mulki ginari dokseba. Aha. Ulia bol mo dokseba gigma down wajidaji. Down wajidayo. Well das ya pegisin na desigol nagol. Aha aim uchid negamok. I was gawasi ya chiksidai. Dan hoi look at me junk up them. But really well das pegisin ladit. Well das aim. Well das is even next time bejidaji. Well, all your dandeli upon muyo, a dandel del gamalio nin. All das work. Ebi dana nujiganu the muaji, nuji it quay wajijel. All time must go out every day. Ula danda day moog, till we da 6 Saint effects. Runa geloka. Kure local nige ait pisu no chid dandelial nolti kolaliom said nogma. Thank you.
So we do have a singer, and I chose her, and I'm glad that she accepted, because I see her as a leader in our Mi'kmaq nation. She's from Eskasoni, and she does have some songs on YouTube, and she's pretty impressive. So I thought I would invite her to this celebration of women's leaders, because she is one herself. Her name is Galalyn Johnson. She's going to tell you what she's going to sing.
First of all, I'd like to congratulate all the graduates. And I'm going to be singing the climb in Mi'kmaq and English. Swell going me do down dead daily Anki dead nasik delimsi morning gisadu guess digging hasi avoid new walsi God made the Lord guess God man ne wasi God when you walsi Agamush bagen mi delum si Giskum din meskil tigay Gedu asle gay Nedu ego nai gadis Ganu me bem kusuay Muna danteli wisri gay Muna jitan kohwe yiskumali It's a climb. The struggles I'm facing, the chances I'm taking, sometimes might knock me down, but no, I'm Those are the moments that I'm gonna remember most, yeah. Just gotta keep going, and I gotta be strong. Just keep pushing on, 'cause there's always gonna be another mountain. I'm always gonna wanna make it move. Always gonna be an uphill battle. Sometimes you're gonna have to lose. Ain't about how fast I get there. Ain't about what's waiting on the other side. It's a climb. Yeah, There's always gonna be another mountain. I'm always gonna wanna make it move. Always gonna be an uphill battle. Sometimes you're gonna have to lose. Ain't about how fast I get there. Ain't about what's waiting on the other side. It's a climb. Yeah. Keep on moving, keep climbing, keep the faith, baby. It's all about the climb. Keep your faith, keep your faith. Thank you. Olalia. Olalia.
So we've come to the end of our presentation, and I just noticed Roger up there. Thank you, Roger, for coming. You know, these girls wouldn't be here if it wasn't for Roger. Please join us upstairs, just outside this room, for some food and some cake, and up on the second floor in the computer room in room 252. If you're interested to see the 10 projects that the women have worked on over the last 3 months, please join them at their stations. Thank you, congratulations, way to go, girls, and I'm gonna miss you. Right on. Yeah. Yeah. We're just gonna take one picture, and then we're gonna head upstairs. So you can start making your way upstairs, and there's food and there's drinks.